All of the reports on the action here today. Concordia coming into this game the number 2 team in the country. They're still unbeaten. They've got several wins under D1 teams under their program, but it's UC San Diego who's here playing up against them. We're going to go down to Margot McCauley, who's got head coach Albert Mann of UC San Diego.
All right, Coach, Concordia unbeaten this season. What can you do today to change that?
They're unbeaten?
Are they unbeaten in the SLC this season?
Yeah, they're unbeaten. What are they ranked?
Number 1.
Okay.
It's
going to be a tough challenge for us. We have to play perfect. I mean, they kicked our butt so bad last time. We didn't play regular for 2 weeks. So it's going to be a big challenge. The good thing about when a team like that kicks your butt in the regular season, you learn a lot, and we'll see if our guys learn their lessons.
Concordia known for their high-powered offense. Are you guys going to change up anything defensively or stick with what you've done all season?
We got our butts kicked by them. We're going to change everything up. Yeah.
All right, well, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks for throwing me a curveball there. I was like, wait, did I do something wrong? Nope. Okay. Coach Mann throwing me a curveball. They're ready to go. They've got their defense, a plan. Well, he didn't give us much insight, but we'll see it here in a few minutes. Back to you, Trey and Chris.
So, Coach Albert Mann of UC San Diego, definitely a defensive-minded guy, throws a new look out there during a lot of the games we've seen, and they're not really a typical defensive-style team, but they're going up against a team that's also not very typical on the offensive side. Concordia is led by 3 outstanding standouts on the offensive side, but none more so than Josh Fagan, who, I mean, Chris and I have seen him several times. He is unstoppable. But Margot's now on the other sideline. She's hustled her way over there, and we're going to get to see an interview with Ryan Brent, head coach at Concordia.
Undefeated so far this season. What has helped you guys be so successful?
We have a lot of upperclassmen, senior leadership, and, we have really just executed when things have gotten tough for us. So I think that all kind of stems from that senior group and that leadership. And, obviously we're excited to be where we're at and looking forward to today and the future.
UC San Diego, known for their ball control and zone defense. How do you counter that?
We like to play fast, and I think tempo is going to be really the key today. If we can push tempo, not only with our face-offs, our draws, they 10-man rode us last time. If they do that again, we've been very successful breaking that. Before they can settle down into their 6-on-6, if we can get past their defense, I think we'll be successful.
All right, thanks, Coach. Good luck today.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
About a minute and a half till we go to our opening face-off. Back to you, Trey and Chris.
So hearing from Coach Brent and Coach Mann, both geared up for this game in the semifinals. Concordia does come in as the heavy favorite, but you can't overlook a team that's willing to throw curveballs on the defensive side.
Yeah, and Coach Mann's shown that he's not afraid to throw a curveball or two at Margot, our Under Armour sideline report, with all the reports coming our way. But certainly UC San Diego's got some work to do. This Concordia team, I mean, like I mentioned in the last broadcast, they don't have a lot of quality Division II wins on their schedule, and I think that's why that they've dropped into the number 2 spot from the 1 spot as St. Thomas, now the number 1 team in the land. But they went out early in the season and beat UCLA at UCLA, beat Chapman here. I mean, granted, that's the first couple seasons, January, first week of February, and the one on the Chapman schedule was a scrimmage, but they played Whittier to a 1-goal game. They beat LMU bad, beat USD. It's a team that's really good. You got guys who've been playing together for 3 or 4 years, and Fagan and Seguin, and those are guys who can hurt you. Very quick hands, very sure sticks, a lot of transition goals. I mean, I expect to see these guys really do some work in transition.
Yeah, and we heard about the last time these two teams met up. Both coaches had distinct memories of that game. As Coach Mann said, they kicked their butts. I mean, that's really what it came down to. That game was 20-3, and a lot of it was due to a very aggressive style from UC San Diego, going with a 10-man ride, trying to come up with some big stops in transition. And clearly, it worked out for Concordia in the end. You talk about that transition, their ability to pick off any defensive strategy.
Yeah, and that's been Concordia's game. They like playing quick. They like getting shots going. They're a team that's not afraid to run the score up. That's for sure. As we see in their last regular season game, they played Biola to a 31-4 beatdown, which is pretty. It's something. But I mean, it's what we talked about. And the thing about that score is, people are going to say, take out your starters or do whatever. But they only have 10 guys on the bench. There's not a whole lot of other people to put in.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that's why you see a lot of inflated scores for Concordia. But a lot like Cal State Fullerton, a lack of depth can lead to some blowout scores. As we're seeing the net being adjusted right now. I'm not sure. Well, it's being taken away entirely. Maybe we're playing this game without a net. You heard that style across.
Yeah, they left the practice
game.
goal on there. The game goal is darker. You can see it's if you look at the other end, that one is darker. So they just left the practice goal out there, and now they're bringing the game goal out. So they just took the wrong goal back to the sideline.
I never noticed that. I never noticed the lighter color. I mean, I've obviously seen a lot of practice goals and a lot of game goals. I just never put two and two together.
Yeah, it's coincidental that the color is a little different, but I mean you can tell it's the net's in better shape, and I mean you know which one are the game goals and which one are the practice goals. And initially they'll come out here during the pregame and they'll set up the practice goal in front of the game goal, so you're not putting holes in the net and making sure that you don't have to make any sort of fixes or changes during the game with the officials trying to stop the game and everything, making sure everything goes according to plan.
So they've set it into place. Now we're ready for the opening face-off. Concordia, UC San Diego, SLC Semi-Final, a trip to the conference championship on the line. And the opening draw on the far side of the field is won by San Diego. Coming up with the ground ball was Steve Warbarton. And
UC San Diego 0 for their last 7 against Concordia. So there's a lot on the line here, more than just a bid to get to the championship game for this SLC tournament. An opportunity to get off the schneid for the Tritons of San Diego.
And expect this San Diego offense maybe be a little patient, let something to develop. As on the outside, a quick shot taken on. As San Diego had Will Meller take that one, but the ground ball is picked up, and it looks like Concordia going to be heading back the other way. So it's our first look at Concordia, moving in transition fast, almost getting themselves on the board, but nice job by the defense to get there at the last moment. However, you can tell there's some pep to the step, as this is Josh Fagan, or Logan Warren, actually. I just assumed it was Josh Fagan. By the power behind that shot, he goes low ball on it and gets it past the goalie.
Yeah, and it's I want to go back to that save that Cody Cook made. Cody Cook, a graduate student, really. And it's like he really saw the ball well. I mean, it's really athletic movement, and he's the one that started the fast break before they got it up to Logan. Who scored that goal? But you just tell the pacing that they have. It feels like a really, really high level. And this is the second time in the last couple of years that they've had a graduate student goalie. I know GM Chiella was down there, and he's a guy played for Italian national team in the World Games. Plays hockey locally and stuff. But he was a guy as a 4-year starter at Concordia and ended up playing as a graduate student as well. But they like that leadership in the cage, actually, with 2 graduate student goalies on the roster right now.
And just a reminder, we're fully interactive. We want to hear your thoughts on this game, where you're watching from, who you're rooting for. Tweet at us at Trey Lanthier, at CMarshallTLN. And apparently there's some smack talk going between the two of us on Twitter as well. A great save made on that play, as getting low to make the stop was Andrew Simon.
Yeah, no, definitely make sure to go out to my Twitter page. Got some cool pictures of the action. out on the field.
No, I don't consider your humor to match up with mine. I made a mistake. I bought a shirt that apparently.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's anyway.
We're sharing some laughs
yeah,
up here. Go to Chris's Twitter page if you want to see exactly what it is we're laughing about.
Okay.
But tweet at us at Trey Lanthier, at CMarshallTLN,
at Margot McCauley. Get her
at
involved.
Margot McCauley. Yes, our Under Armour sideline reporter. As this sidearm shot goes way high, but 2 players were there to back it up.
And we've got just about 3 minutes gone in this first quarter.
Yeah, as both teams have had a couple chances on the offensive side, as Concordia makes another stop, they force a turnover on the near sideline.
Fun fact, Concordia, I believe, is the smallest school competing at any level in the MCLA with an enrollment of 1,200.
That is a fun fact. I didn't know that.
The more you know.
It is a small school, but they get some pretty talented players to join this team. And you don't – I mean, Concordia is always in the conversation as, a team that can contend in the SLC, but we've never heard them in the national title conversation to the extent that they are right now.
Yeah, I mean, they're absolutely – in my personal opinion, I feel like they're a top 10 Division I team if they were playing against those teams this season. I feel like they could go out and hang with just about anybody. I mean, I think the only difference would be, going against a team that has the kind of depth of some of those virtual varsity programs, the Colorados, the BYUs, the Grand Canyons, and there's another goal coming from Concordia there.
Yeah, it was Robert Romero who was cutting across the middle, got just a bit of an opening, and was able to sidewind it home. And you knew you couldn't hold this Concordia offense at bay for long, as they've already got 2 on the board less than 4 minutes into this one.
Yeah, and a little bit of breaking news coming your way. American Pharoah won the 141st Kentucky Derby, coming out of the number 2 slot. So for all you horse racing fans out there. We're not just covering lacrosse here. We
cover everything.
Cover across the spectrum.
Yeah, we're also going to have some coverage of the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight.
That's not true.
Not really, though. But, hey, if you're going to watch the fight, feel free to tweet at us. Let us know your thoughts on the fight. But more importantly, the fight going on the field as Concordia, UC San Diego in an SLC semifinal. Concordia in those green helmets, the white tops, yellow shorts, and it's a look that I wouldn't say if you just told me that's what the colors that they were wearing. I wouldn't say, oh, it looks good, but I do think on the field that it looks good. I like the look of it. I like the numbers, lettering. I like a lot of it. But UC San Diego in that deep navy blue, also a very good look. As this shot is off the mark, that low angles shot try, and that's something Concordia. A lot of these players on this team have those types of shots in their artillery, as a player right in front of the crease is sent to the ground, Dylan Bernard.
And you see Bernard playing with his right. It's a lot of the Canadian style. I'm just happy to be on the broadcast with lacrosse and fashion expert Trey Lanthier.
Oh, well, there you have it. I think that's the nicest thing you've ever said about me. Andrew Kirkelis tweets in, my boys at CUI Lax are going to win all the way from Wisconsin. The fun fact is wrong.
Is it?
Point has 900. So
well.
Chris Marshall has been proven wrong. Thank you, Andrew, for giving me some fire, some ammo to use against Chris. And we're at the 9:40 mark. Concordia up 2-0. I'm not going to let you finish that thought. Concordia up 2-0, but UC San Diego trying to cut this lead in half.
Yeah, most of the time I just kind of make stuff up. Hope nobody looks it up. And there's going to be a flag down.
So San Diego going to have a free play here. We'll see what look they throw.
They're just closing in on the 9-minute mark. Down two goals. Big opportunity for San Diego State to get on the board here. Basically a free play here with the flag down. They'll continue to play until the ball goes out of bounds or until Concordia gets possession.
Almost something shaping up, but nothing really develops. UCSD, a defensively based team to say the least. They've only allowed double digits on 3 occasions, and those are against some of the best teams they played. Cal State Fullerton scored 12 against them. We mentioned the Concordia game where the Eagles dropped 20, and then Cal State San Marcos scored 15. But aside from those 3 games, they were holding teams under double digits consistently. And there were a lot of games where they were holding teams under 5 goals. As this pass is going to trickle its way up near the midfield, still no touch on it from Concordia, so that penalty is just waiting.
That's a nice play, just goosing the ball out to Mastro. Keeping the play alive for UCSD. And UCSD, I think the thing that they struggle with is they don't have a guy who's a real one-on-one dodging threat. Anything that they get, it's usually on the dodge, but the dodge to feed, and they get cutters coming up. You got guys like Hunter Hirsch, Brian Tran, guys who are good off-ball players who score a lot of the goals.
So we're seeing a lot of substitutions come in for Concordia in this man-down defensive set. And they've actually only got 4 defensemen on the field right now. And San Diego's about to bring this ball in. And finally, the last long pull comes out for Concordia. A bit of confusion on the sideline there.
And interesting, San Diego opting to play with a pole on their man-up unit. One of the very few teams out there that I've seen.
They've actually got
this.
2 poles.
That's right. It's a De Leon on the far side. De Leon has got his stick is as good as anybody on the field right now. He's a very good, very athletic long pole. And then Jack Carpenter, the freshman. I mean, you got to have a lot of confidence in your team to put a freshman pole on your man-up unit.
Concordia so far doing a good job of working over to ball side, but we haven't yet gotten a chance. This is a pass down low, and it's going to head out of play. It was intended.
Patrick Zhang was the one trying to get on the end of that one.
And now we'll see if Concordia is just going to run out this penalty, as they're still nursing a 2-0 lead. We're under 7 to play here in the first quarter.
And I think this is, so far, this is a win for UCSD. And only giving up 2 goals here in the early going is I think a positive result.
Tweet coming in from David Schaum says, if UCSD can convert man-up opportunities, they can hang. Concordia is very chippy, gives up a lot of penalties. And that's an interesting note that I don't know if everybody touches on with Concordia, is that they can get in situations where they're sending a man into the box more frequently than they would like. But also, that's the type of defense that's forcing turnovers. A high shot goes out of play, but it'll stay with Concordia.
It's Chase Matronga. He's another big guy. He's got a real rip. He's been doing it for 3 seasons now for Concordia. He's a guy who was an impact player immediately for these guys. There's Seguin working from behind. This is a dangerous position. Working against De Leon. Probably the best pull. Nice look inside. Skip pass. Somehow manages to get that ball out. Can't quite flip to Matronga, but it's going to stay with the Eagles. Seguin trying the old toe drag through. It's like Fagan's going to get it.
So a big defensive stop there for San Diego, or UC San Diego, I should say, as they'll now try to be in there clear. And we look back to that man-up unit, which is it's still fascinating to me to see 2 long pulls in a man-up. It's seeing one is rare enough, as this is a hard push laid on from behind, and we may be seeing another Concordia penalty as the flag is down. And on the push there is Robert Romero, who does have a goal so far in the day.
Yeah, and that's something that I've been watching this team over the last 6 or 8 seasons, and that's certainly something that's true. They play a very kind of blue collar style of lacrosse where they come in, come in late a couple of times and make you really think about when you're going to hold on to the ball and when you're not. And it's they're a team that's not afraid to take some time out to make you really think about if you want to come into the middle of that crease.
Did that referee relay the penalty?
But definitely.
And so we're going to actually call it to a break. When we come back, we'll have the end of the first quarter for you. Welcome back to Orange, California in Chapman Stadium, where we're going to toss it down to the sideline for Under Armour sideline reporter Margot McCauley.
You got 2 timeouts left. You got 2?
All right, guys, UCSD there in the huddle. Coach talking to their players saying, guys, right here, I need us to be up 2-1 after this man-up play. He pulled his team over. I don't have much time to tell you what happened, but make sure you tweet me your players of the game, guys. Back to you, Trey and Chris.
Yeah, and as she said, remember to tweet in your votes for player of the game at Margot McCauley. Because, I mean, whoever you vote for, I mean, there's a T-shirt on the line here, Chris. Definitely something that is going to be pretty crucial. As, again, in the man-up, we're going to see those 2 long poles out there. We'll see if it can pay off for UC San Diego this time around. .430 on the clock. Concordia still with that 2-0 lead. UC San Diego has yet to get on the board, and they really haven't even gotten a quality shot on yet, which is important because of how Cody Cook can play in net. This one is snatched out of the sky. A nice move by the long pole, but he has it checked out of his possession. Now another flag is down. It looks like it's going to go against Concordia again.
Yeah, that's going to be a push with possession. It's going to be a 30-second technical when it comes out. So another free possession. Hunter Hirsch, who took the brunt of that one, is looking like he's limping a little bit. So I mean, like I said, Concordia not a team that's afraid to lay some lumber.
Yeah, and interesting to see them coming out so aggressively in that physicality department. Brian Tran in the far corner. Now we're behind the net for Patrick Zhang. San Diego's been very patient, letting offensive chances develop, but this isn't a Chapman defense that lets much by. They really have not missed an assignment yet, as still some aggressive stick checks being laid on. San Diego able to hold on to possession here. This is turning into a long-winded try for San Diego, and they're still going to have that penalty coming once they turn this, or once they lose possession of this ball. Another flag is down.
Yeah, and it's this could be an opportunity for San Diego to go up 2 goals.
Did you see what that flag came for?
I didn't see it. It must have been something on the crease, maybe a hold. Interesting to see who they call that on. It might be one of those situations where if it's on 2 different players, that would be a really big break for San Diego. I mean, I like what San Diego's doing here. I mean, they're just taking time off the clock, and it's something we talk about. It's like, as long as you're on offense, the other team's not scoring goals. And I think that UCSD is taking full advantage of that right now. But we'll see what the calls are here, and see how many men UCSD is going to be up right now.
And we did see Patrick Zhang take the shot from GLE there. Didn't really have a chance at scoring there, but it does stop the play. It was a dead ball, which will send 2.
24.
Let's listen in what the officials got going on.
30 seconds. White, 18. Push, 30 seconds. 2 fouls, both 30 seconds.
So it's going to be two penalties, 2 different players, 1 for interference. They're basically both, one's for a push, one's for a hold. And they're both 30 seconds. They'll be wiped off if there's a goal. But up 2 men right now, this is a huge opportunity for San Diego.
And 6-on-4s, obviously a lot of open space to work with, but sometimes you almost overthink them because you're so used to preparing for a 6-on-5 that you don't really know what to do with the extra space.
Watch for Zhang creeping up here, 35 on the backside for the skip pass. He's been open.
So far, this Concordia swarming defense is doing a great job on their shifts as both penalties will expire, and that's going to do it for this 2-man-up opportunity for UC San Diego. We're going to see the long poles come off the field, and that's a big stop for Concordia momentum-wise.
I mean, that's a complete failure offensively for San Diego. I mean, you're up 2 men for 30 seconds and you don't even get a shot off. I mean, that one's on the coaches. They just didn't draw something up that gave San Diego an opportunity to score a goal there.
The Tritons still do have possession, though.
I mean, it's been about 5 minutes now on possession. This is a really impressive offensive set. I mean, aside from not getting a shot there, I mean, I think the strategy that they're trying to employ here by just not letting Concordia have the ball on the offensive side is working. But down to 50 seconds to go here.
So, yeah, with under a minute to play, we'll see if Concordia is going to hold on for the final shot. If they can even get it down to their end of the field. Looks like there was a turnover on the far side.
Yeah, Matronga just dropped that one right out of bounds. You see the coach kick it. He wasn't happy with the way his boys are playing. And, you're making Concordia frustrated, and I think that's what you want to do. I mean, controlled stall. Tear a page out of the old Matt Holman coaching book.
30 seconds, and what a move.
That's just a force
to grab
pass.
that one out of the – yeah, absolutely. But good anticipation for Concordia.
This
now
is
heading
dangerous.
back the other direction. This could shape into something. It does. Fagan waits out the goalie and ends up going top shelf with it.
Yeah, and then it's just Ken Miyake trying to do too much on the offensive side of the field. This is exactly the situation you don't want to put yourself in. I mean, they're the best team in transition, maybe in the country. And it's you throw a skip pass that you absolutely do not need to throw, and gets picked off and goes back the other direction, gives Concordia an opportunity to take all the momentum that you had from a 5 or 6 minute possession in the last 17 seconds of the quarter. I mean, that's a mental error.
Yeah, and 17 seconds is still enough time to work with if you can get possession for yourself off the face-off.
Yeah, Concordia, this is certainly a place where they can score. Down to the last 10 seconds. It's Warren, and that's great defense.
And it is going to be...
It's going to be a hold, but without possession, so no penalty.
So 5 seconds on the clock. Concordia has to have some awareness here and get a shot quickly. This one a low bouncer, but it's swallowed up. A nice stop at the last moment. It's going to bring the first quarter to a close. We're going to take it to a break. Concordia up 3-0. Don't go anywhere, though. UC San Diego is still knocking at the door. Welcome back into Chapman Stadium. Concordia up 3-0 after the first quarter. We've got a sideline report coming shortly, and we're going to go down to Margot McCauley with the report.
All right, guys, listening in there on the break to the Concordia huddle, Coach pulled his team in and said, guys, number one, what do we know? And his team responded, they're here to play, they're here to kill. Then he said, two, what do we need to do? We need to play smarter, play cleaner. We're playing a bit sloppy out here. And most importantly, he said, we need to speed up the play. He said that's the only way we're going to break up their zone defense and break up what they do on the field. Back to you, Trey and Chris.
And Coach Brent said it best there. I think they were playing a sloppy quarter. And it goes to show how talented this team is when you're up 3-0 after a sloppy quarter.
Yeah, and I feel like it should be 2-0. It should be 2-1. I mean, really. I mean, San Diego should have gotten a goal on one of those man-up opportunities, and then gave up a pretty cheap one late. But I think the strategy for San Diego is working as well as it possibly could. I mean, holding Concordia to 2 goals in the first 14 and a half minutes of that quarter is a success. Concordia obviously has a lot of firepower, and you just can't give them any sort of opportunity to get any momentum rolling offensively, or they'll hang 20 on you.
And they did hang 20 on UC San Diego the first time these two teams met earlier in the year. Obviously, the Tritons trying to prevent it from going that way again. And they're off to a good start here in the second quarter. We'll see if they change anything up on the offensive side, which was sluggish to say the least in that first quarter.
And again, they have to rely on their team offense. They don't have guys who can beat you one-on-one really.
And it's a tough thing to be doing with when you're going against such tough team defense. This one is scooped up.
This is
and
trouble.
Logan Warren is flying down the field right now. He passes it off. I am surprised he gave that up. I thought he had a clear lane to the goal. And so it ends up on the ground. Not sure who ended up with it. It looks like it is going to be UC San Diego ball.
That looked like an issue with the box. Maybe too many players, late substitution. Coming on the field, looks like the player for Concordia left early, coming out of the box there, and caused a turnover.
An interesting break.
But again, more sloppy play.
And we're going to see Concordia double the ball to come in here, as it's the freshman Carpenter.
Here's Simon, the senior.
And Simon with an interesting pass there, a body laid out to the ground. It's Patrick Zhang, who just got hit very hard.
There's Mastro able to come in and do it. He's one of the guys that can cause some trouble for Concordia individually. Now Chan gets it to Tran. It's just the last little bit of these plays just isn't quite there for San Diego. It's just finishing the play, and you see 4 white shirts down there running after it. Finally 4 blue shirts, and now we're in a bad situation here for San Diego. Is they're going to be in a 6-on-4, and this is trouble.
And Romero, with so much speed, tries on his first dodge. He's caught up. The ball is loose. There's a struggle for the ground ball, and it's going to be San Diego who had it momentarily, but now Josh Fagan getting in there as well. Going to be a push called against Concordia. A lot of calls going against Concordia here. They're playing a very physical, aggressive brand of lacrosse, and it's been costing them.
Yeah, and it's that's about as poorly as I've ever seen Concordia run a fast break. They had 6-on-4. They had numbers. I mean, this is a team that, like I said, is as good as anybody in the country. Nice ice pick by Matronga. He's going over the head. Now as Mastro takes the shot. But I just that's a lucky break for San Diego. I don't think that the Concordia is going to come down the field and not get a shot off on a fast break like that probably again today.
Yeah, and that's the second straight fast break chance they've gotten that has ended in not exactly what they would want it to end in, as we saw too many guys in the box the last time around, and on that one just a defensive stop. Still a 3-0 lead, 12-10 on the clock. And UC San Diego still yet to get its first score on the board, and honestly haven't really even gotten a good shot, but this is their first chance for one. However, it's deflected off of a body. Stays with the Tritons, though. Nothing shaping up on the far side.
Again, just holding on to the ball, trying to do their best to keep Concordia not on the offensive side of the field.
Yeah, and also to give their defense a chance to rest a little bit because of the explosive style of that Concordia offense.
Well, and one thing is, like, when you're playing that zone too, it's you can stay on defense a little while. You know, putting a lot of trust in their senior netminder Andrew Simon. And I mean, I think that's what you got to do. You got to trust your goalie to make those saves from outside. And he's been doing it so far. I mean, I would think all the goals from Concordia have come in transition, so none coming out of the settled offense.
A pass across the crease, but not sure.
There's another push going against Concordia.
What the aim there was. And both teams maybe looking a little unselfish, especially UC San Diego. It's been one of their concerns all year long, has been the lack of a go-to option to break them out of a scoring slump like they're in right now. From behind the net, it's Will Meller.
He stepped in the crease.
And that's just a mental mistake there. You got to have enough field awareness to know when you're nearing that zone and make sure to avoid it at all costs, especially when you're in a controlled stall, when you're in an offense that's intending to drool out some clock for as long as possible. As another not so heads up pass.
Well, I mean, I think is you didn't see the guy coming in there. It's a pretty. I've been really impressed with San Diego's ride so far.
Ten minutes left in the second quarter. A lot of conference tournament action going on around the MCLA right now. BYU and Colorado playing against each other. Colorado with a 3-2 lead in the first quarter, as this is Concordia's fourth goal. They finally break their way onto the scene here in the second quarter with a nice team-style offense.
Yeah, it's Matronga coming down the middle again. And we talked about him earlier. He's a guy. He's got just a real cannon, and you've got attackmen who are as good as Seguin and Fagan. They draw a lot of attention. And so when they're dodging from X, it pulls down the slide. Everyone's really looking for them, and it gives Matronga an opportunity to get that one from about 8 yards out up top and just bury the shot. I mean, it's a nice play.
Yeah, and that's one of the things you notice when you look through the scoring department for this Concordia team is just how many guys have stellar careers. I mean, Josh Fagan is the obvious one, but Dylan Bernad, Chase Matronga, Destin Seguin are all excellent options as well, and Robert Romero is a guy who's made an impact in this game so far. He's the fifth leading scorer on the team. He's got 36 points. So it runs deep in Concordia, not deep on the bench, but on the players that are on the field. Any single one can take a game over.
Absolutely.
So we're going to see a timeout called on the field with 9:25 left in the first half. We're going to take it to a quick break. Don't go anywhere. You're watching SLC semifinal action on the SLC YouTube channel.
Today live like a wanna. Let yesterday burn and do it in a fire, in a fire, in a fire. Fight like a warrior. Today live like a wanna. Let yesterday burn and do it in a fire, in a fire, in a fire. Live like a warrior. Israel!
Welcome back into Chapman Stadium here in Orange, California. We're midway through the second quarter. We're going to go down to the sideline for our Under Armour sideline reporter,
UC
Margo
San
McCauley.
Diego called the timeout right there, and their coach called them in, and he said, guys, when we are defending man-to-man, we have got to do a better job with our top right midi. He's got to get over and cover in the crease. Apparently, that's creating a lot of problems for them on defense, and that's what they're trying to shut down for the rest of this half. Offensively, they need to get on the board. The coach drawing up a play to kind of help them get some more ideas and, get on the board in the rest of this half. We've got just under 9.5 minutes left to play, so let's see if they can make something happen and make this a little bit closer of a game going into the break. Back to you, Trey and Chris.
Thanks, Margo. And that really has been the struggle for San Diego, has been the lack of offense. I mean, on the defensive side, if you're only giving up 4 goals to Concordia through a 20-minute stretch of action, I'd say that's a win. I say you take that coming in. If you tell me at the 9:25 mark I'm only giving up 4 goals, the problem has been on the offensive side for the Tritons, and we'll see if they can break that coming out of the timeout, and evidently not, as the first pass is a roller that's scooped up, heading back the other direction, the long pull with a shot. Simon gets a save. He had to get very low for that one, and so the Tritons, again, get out by the skin of their teeth.
Yeah, and then back to your point about these guys, these career guys for Concordia. I mean, you look at these two guys in Seguin and Fagan, and Fagan, a guy, 222 goals in his career, 283 points, and that's pretty impressive over the course of 4 years. Scored 75 goals as a freshman, which is really great. And then you got Seguin with 179 career goals on 288 points, and it's really impressive the sustained success that those guys have had.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you look at the where they stand in the SLC's all-time point scorers. There's been a lot of great scorers. We mentioned in the last game Chris Cole as a player, and I mean he's far and away the number 1 in SLC history with 360 points on his career. And then you have Mike Ansel, who's now the head coach at Cal State Fullerton, number 2. But right behind him, and honestly, maybe by the time this season is over, they could possibly catch him, Destin Seguin, Josh Fagan at number 3 and 4 with 288, 283 career points. That's unreal. When you're talking about two guys who have played together for that long, connecting that frequently. Because, I mean, it's impossible for them to put up those types of numbers without feeding off of each other in the goals and assist categories.
Absolutely.
7:30 on the clock. Concordia with the 4-0 lead, looking to make it 5-0.
That was a great check to knock the ball out of the stick there, but Concordia scooped it right back up. But solid defense by San Diego right now.
This is the first long-term possession we've seen from Concordia. This shot taken off the side of the cage and scooped right back up for the Eagles. Feed inside, doesn't hit the mark. Now a try from the opposite side. It gets through. Sean Wilson goes sidearm and gets past Simon. Concordia 5-0.
But I think that Concordia is actually getting sort of – I mean, they scored there. But I think Concordia is actually getting sort of frustrated with that zone look. It's a little bit of a pressure zone, and you saw that they had to rotate there, and they made the skip pass, and that's what you got to do to beat the zone. You got to skip pass, and it worked. But in terms of how they're playing defensively, I think that they're playing well. They just need to get on the board.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to see if they're going to be able to do that. They talked about at that quarter break, or at the timeout break, I should say, the need to change things up offensively. But right now, Concordia winning another possession. They're going to be pushing the fold to try and make it a 6-0 game. It's hard to come back from these type of deficits because not only do you have to hold Concordia's offense at bay, which they've been doing a good job of, but it's hard to do as the game goes on, you have to also make strides on the offensive side as well. And it's not like Concordia is shabby defensively. Yes, we talk about their offense a lot, but this is a team that's very versatile and wears many hats.
So many hats. There's Matronga. This is a good matchup for him. He rolls in and puts the old exclamation point on that spin move.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a great example of a guy who's not Josh Fagan, not Destin Seguin, but still a huge difference maker on this team. Matronga should be getting a lot more defensive attention than he gets, but the simple fact is he's the third option on this team, and he's still as deadly as any other offensive option in the country.
Make sure to keep sending us your tweets, comments, questions, anything you got to us at CMarshallTLN, at Trey Lanthier. Love to hear from you, where you're watching from. What do you think of the game so far? Any kind of predictions you have for this weekend, as well as the MCLA tournament and everything moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, you can tweet us those thoughts. You can tweet us thoughts just about life in general. If you have some random questions you want to ask us, obviously appropriate questions, but questions nonetheless. I have no problem answering random questions. I ask a lot of random questions.
Yeah, you do.
And you know, I mean, a random question that does pertain to this game is how far can Concordia go? We talked about their championship aspirations.
Concordia are absolute legit contenders to win it all. I mean, I have no hesitation when I say that I think Concordia can play with anybody at the Division II level.
And honestly, I wish that there was a D2 equivalent to the Coaches vs. Cancer Classic. And hopefully we'll see. I know Matt Holman has talked about the expansion into Division II, joining that event, because it's such a great event. I mean, we get to see the best teams in the Division I side all play together at one location in a round-robin style, as this shot is going to be picked up by McKeon.
I mean, honestly, this season I wouldn't have minded seeing Concordia playing in that tournament against the D1 teams. I mean, I think they could have gotten some favorable results.
Absolutely. I mean, it would be interesting to see what would happen there. I mean, we have seen Concordia beat some D1 teams before this season, but certainly something along the lines of what we saw at the Coaches vs. Cancer Classic. We did get a chance to see a lot of the top-tier teams in the Midwest play in Chicago together.
And, I mean, that's good. Anytime you can get a group of high-level teams. I mean, I think Coaches for Cancer, we had 8 of the top 10 teams in the country represented at the time, and a lot of great lacrosse. It's a tournament atmosphere. I mean, I think the preeminent MCLA lacrosse tournament in the country gives you an opportunity to see some of the top-level teams, and obviously it's for a great cause, and that's good. And it looks like they're getting the switch going. The switch going as Simon gets back into the cage for UCSD.
And a reminder on the Coaches vs. Cancer Classic, it's open to all Division I, all Division II teams. So if you happen to be associated with a Division I or Division II team and you want to get involved with that event, reach out to Matt Holman. And
also the women's teams.
Yeah, the
women's
WCLA as well. We have MCLA, WCLA. There's some high schools that play in the event. And this goes beyond just that weekend. That's the beginning. That's the kickoff weekend. All month long, the Coaches vs. Cancer Classic. And it's a 2-week span in 2016. Please get involved. Reach out to Matt Holman and find a way to get your team.
Yeah, I even went out there and took some rips post game. So,
and I think it's a great event. And not only that, but I'm hoping to get my invite back there, because then I can have a shirt that's not bought at a thrift store, whose gender we're still not sure of. I may have bought a woman's shirt. I may have bought a men's shirt. I don't know. I'm wearing it right now. Check out Chris Marshall's Twitter and tell me if you think that's a women's shirt or a men's shirt. Yeah. I'm of the opinion it's a men's shirt.
Well, it looks like it was made for you, Trey.
It's a polo. It's a polo. I think polos are genderless. Regardless. We got a good game going down on the field. Sorry for getting distracted there by a bit of frustration to my to my clothes choices.
Those mother of pearl buttons are beautiful.
Under 3.5 to play in this quarter. And heading near halftime, San Diego needs to have an answer at some point. Concordia really hasn't been challenged at all on the defensive side. I mean, give credit to what the Eagles defense has done, but I don't know how many saves Cody Cook even has right now.
Yeah, well, one, maybe two.
Maybe.
I mean, they're not really. He had a save that he needed to make in the first minute of the game. That was a great save. But David Shaw makes a good point here. It's like if UCSD could convert even one, and there's a goal there, another one by Concordia. Even one of the, or they could just the man ups, it would be 6-3, and the tournament teams will make them pay. And I certainly have to agree with you there.
Yeah, Destin Seguin was posted right outside of the crease. Very, very good positioning there. And I think this UC San Diego defense is just starting to falter a little bit down the stretch. As we have a tweet coming in from Andrew Kellis. What is your favorite sport besides lax? And I know what my answer to the question is. Chris, I want to know if you know my answer. Guess my answer.
You seem like the kind of guy who is like a real big League of Legends guy.
I'm not. Although Arizona State, my alma mater now, was playing in a esports thing that was broadcast on ESPN. But I will say, my favorite sport besides lax is water polo. I actually played water polo for 4 years in high school. I do some water polo broadcasting here and there. I dabble. And now we're also getting a tweet in from Andrew again. Polos are not genderless. Sorry, boss. So I'm probably in the minority as far as genders and polos go. This shot off the mark. It goes out of play, but there's a flag down, a player down as well.
And that's if there hadn't been a flag down there and you're on the sideline and you see Hunter Hirsch get beaten to the end line, that'd be tough to swallow because that would have been a turnover. But yeah, big hit by Concordia again, and it's going to be a cross check going against Concordia. But back to that question, my favorite sport other than lacrosse.
Wait, can I guess?
Sure, go ahead and guess.
I'm going to guess soccer.
Oh, that's a good guess, Trey.
Am I right?
Yes,
I'm right.
That is
Look at that.
correct.
I know Chris so well. Chris and I have worked so many games together, so much hatred between the two of us that we learn each other's weaknesses and our strengths just so we can exploit them as frequently as possible. I do know Chris was a soccer player back in the day.
That's true.
Actually played for Concordia, or not Concordia, for Chapman.
Yeah,
Oh,
I was captain of the Chapman team for 2 seasons. But
and it's going to be a 2-minute penalty for a
cross
cross check.
Yeah, it came in pretty
targeting
high.
the head.
Yeah, I mean, I believe he's going to serve the full 2 minutes on that one as well. So this is a huge opportunity. And back to what David Chomp said. I mean, you get a team like St. Thomas, you give them man up for 2 minutes, they could score 3-4 goals.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be interesting. They're putting those long pulls out there again. They're clearly gonna stick with that as they have not had much success on the man down or the man up so far today.
I mean, they've got to get that.
But this is the right time.
Pass going to Zhang. Zhang is the one who's open.
1:45 on the clock.
I mean, I myself have never been a part or seen live a shutout, but this smells like it could happen.
I mean, we'll see that with how many man-up chances they get. You would imagine one of them would show up, but clearly this man-up unit is not finding anything inside.
And he just loses his
almost a
footing
chance up top, but instead it's going to be on the ground, picked up. We're at the 1:15 mark, so we're about nearing the 1 minute mark in this penalty.
Still no shots.
Still no shots.
It makes me wonder. I mean, they have to want to score a goal. I mean, they're losing by 7. And again, trying to force that one back up top, looking for, I think they were trying to get master of that shot. But even when he had his feet set, he was still 12 out. As gets the ball inside, going to be a push again against Concordia. As Cook sends it down the field, finds Seguin. But
if that hadn't been a penalty, that would have been a great play by Cook.
Yeah.
He hit him on a dime.
Yeah, right
yeah, no, absolutely. This UC San Diego team has had its chances. They're just not really coming through the way that they would hope for them to. And give credit to Concordia's man-down unit. They're doing exactly what they need to keep this a shutout.
And it's another point here from Andrew Kirkilas is having the polls on man up it eliminates some of the opportunities to score because it for one, it takes away those that's where the big shooter should be, on the wings there. And if you're going to leave those poles anywhere, I guess you leave them up top and maybe move Mastro over. But they went 2 minutes of man up nearly. Another like 2 seconds, we'll be back up to full strength. But with only one shot, maybe nothing on cage.
No.
To show for it.
I'm not really sure. I mean, if this is a controlled stall, what's the point? As Cody Cook has it, he's going to send a long one down the length of the field, and Seguin, if he'd had 2-3 more seconds,
maybe one more second, yeah.
Maybe one, would have been able to put it home, but instead the clock runs out on him. However, Concordia's sitting pretty comfortable with a 7-0 lead at the half.
Yeah, definitely don't go anywhere. I mean, we're going to have a whole second half of action coming your way. Going to have Under Armour sideline reporter Margot McCauley down talking to Coach Brent, and we'll be seeing what he has to say about the performance. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, I don't think they had their best game in the first half. I think they got some decent chances, but I mean, we'll see what he has to say about that, and we send it down to Margot right now.
All right, Coach, UC San Diego may be down right now, but at times they're really controlling the ball. What can you do to speed up the pace of the game and keep them from having those long possessions?
Hope that when they don't go to the goal, somebody calls the timer on. I mean, it's tough. They're doing a good job of holding the ball, and we've done a good job of actually pushing out at times. But ground balls are right in front of us. We're not picking them up. So it's leading to 4, 5, 6, 7 minute possessions. The good news is that those possessions haven't turned into shots on goal very much for us. So in that sense, it's sort of comforting. But we need to get the possessions when we get the ball on the ground, and we need to do something more with it when we get it on offense. I think we've been a lot much too cavalier with the ball when we have it, and we're not going after it when it's on the ground, or when it's on the ground when we force a turnover. So
when you take a look at that scoreboard, you guys have not given up a goal. How proud are you of your defense right now?
Well, they're great. We got a bunch of plug and play guys in there too right now. So Austin Morales, despite the big 2-minute non-releasable penalty he just got us, has been doing a heck of a job. He's a converted goalie for us. So, there's a few guys who are kind of out of their comfort zone or playing tremendous. Obviously, our goalie, Cody Cook, is I think he's the best in the country, and, he's proven it right now. So, if we keep that defensive effort up and do a little smarter on offense, I think we'll be all right.
All right. Thanks, Coach. Good luck in a second. All right, guys, make sure to tweet me your players of the game. I love to get the tweets, love to see what you have to say, and I love to catch them for the post-game interviews. They always give me something funny. Back to you, Chris and Trey.
All right, thanks so much for that interview, Margot. We're going to call it to a break at the half. We're about 8 minutes away from the second half of action between Concordia and UCSD. Don't go anywhere. Promises to be a good second half of action. 7-0 lead for Concordia. You're watching the SLC tournament on the SLC YouTube channel.
Today live like a wanna. Let yesterday burn and go it in a fire, in a fire, in a fire. Fight like a warrior. Today live like a wanna. Let yesterday burn and go it in a fire, in a fire, in a fire. Live like a warrior.
Welcome to UC San Diego. Welcome to one of the world's great universities. It's a place where exceptional students come to earn a world-class education, where a distinguished faculty delivers superior teaching, research, and innovation. It's a place where just the location is so much a part of an amazing experience. UC San Diego's many contributions make it a vital part of San Diego's economic and educational heartbeat. The quality and breadth of the university's faculty, undergraduate research, and graduate programs make it a national leader in higher education. And its research, outreach programs, and innovative ideas are changing people's lives every day. Since it began in 1960, UC San Diego has been a driving force in the tremendous growth of the region, helping to make the area a magnet for intellectual and cultural innovation. The university's faculty and alumni have founded more than 200 local companies, including Qualcomm, Genoptics Medical Laboratory, and Rusty Surfboards, making the area a world leader in telecommunications, biotechnology, biomedicine, and other industries.
I think we have an absolute gem in our own backyard that we don't realize the full importance that this university plays in our community. Its dynamic research is carrying new jobs into this community. It's bringing in the intellectual talent that we need to excel in tomorrow's world. And it's all centered right here in our own backyard.
UC San Diego is the county's third largest employer with a monthly payroll of $90 million. It continues to educate an ambitious and intelligent workforce. UC San Diego's local impact goes well beyond dollars and jobs. The university contributes greatly to the community's health and well-being. UC San Diego Medical Center was honored for its research, innovation, and clinical excellence while making a difference in many lives.
And it comes down to this. 14-13 the score. SDSU is in the lead, but it's not by much. Kevin Soderholm, a coach at NDSU, says attack is keeping them in it. I want overtime. And I'm sure that the ASU fan base here is looking and hoping for overtime as well. But it's going to come down to perhaps what could be the final possession, as Kyle Denis is going to be the midi to bring it in, coming out of this timeout. Denis is faced up, now with a quick pass, and it's off the mark. Kyle Denis has turned this ball over, and San Diego State is taking over on possession. The Aztecs, only 1 minute left that they are going to have to kill off in this one. Not sure why ASU isn't putting more pressure on these long poles right now, as a deep pass from Flaherty up ahead. He connects with his man. The 10-man ride has Rufanis force that ball free. ASU now heading back the other way, and they've got some life. Finn Wells going to roll around. Not sure if he has enough time to work with right now, as there's 30 seconds on the clock. Wells with the pass up top for Piquel. Piquel looks for the inside. County Carrasco scores! With the turnaround try, somehow, I don't know how he pulled it off. He didn't even see the goal until the final moment. And ASU has tied this up, 14-14. And keep in mind, there is still some time left on that clock. And with the way both of these face-off guys have been playing, this one isn't headed overtime yet. San Diego State has to be feeling deflated after the turnover leads to the tying goal for Arizona State. But we still have a possession left, 15 seconds on the clock. Handy wins the draw. He's got to move quick here. He realizes it. Under 10 to play. Handy takes it down. He scores! Zach Handy scores with under 10 to play. What an unbelievable sequence of events as ASU is up 15-14, and there may not be enough time for SDSU to answer. Zach Handy with the biggest play of his career. Wins the face-off, puts it through. 5 seconds left on the clock. I don't know if that's enough time for Rebick to work with. And the clock will run out. ASU come away with the biggest win, maybe of their season. For a halftime report with Coach Mann of UC San Diego.
All right, Coach, down 7 at the half. What's the mentality of your team right now?
They know they got to pick it up. They know that they made a lot of mental errors in that half, that we can't do that against a number 1 team, you know. So they know that we made errors, but they know that when we ran our stuff, it worked. And they're just not making the final looks. They're not just not finishing their shots.
All right, Coach, I'll let you go get with your team before the half starts. Back to you guys, Chris and Trey. But hey, wait, real quick, tweet me your players of the game. We've got a special nominee, Juarez. He's out here somewhere. He's the referee, though. I can't get him for a post-game interview. Send me your tweets at Margot McCauley. Back to you, Trey and Chris.
You can absolutely get a referee for a post-game interview. I think we should start having a referee of the game. They should get hats. Hats or crowns. Maybe crowns.
We can't afford that.
I don't know. We can afford a lot of shirts to give out to these players of the game because Margot picks like 10 of them per game. That's Under Armour sideline reporter Margot McCauley.
Can we scoot the tables back again? Yeah. Like, wait.
Having a good old time there on the sideline.
Yeah, you can hear the joy emanating through the hot mic as both UC San Diego, Concordia come into this game with pretty strong seasons under their belts. Obviously, Concordia is a higher caliber team. They're number 2 in the country right now, and it's looking like it on the scoreboard. They're up 7-0, but as Coach Mann said, it wasn't a good half played by UC San Diego. This is a team that can play better than they did on the offensive side of the ball, and they didn't do a bad job of handling the Concordia attack. The issue came with their offensive inabilities.
Yeah, and we got another one coming in asking, at what point do you put the timer on? I feel like after 90, if you don't have a shot on goal after 90 seconds, the timer should go on. And I mean, it seems like I had the opportunity to talk to a couple of the officials last night at the hotel, and I mean that seems to be pretty close to the consensus as to what's going on. But also, if there's a player behind the cage and nobody is going to him, then you're probably not going to get that call. I remember a specific occasion, I believe last season, where in a UNC game where maybe it was Jimmy Bitter had his man hung up and stood behind the goal for, I want to say, 3 or 4 minutes. And the defender didn't want to come to him because he had it was Marcus Holman because he didn't want to give him the opportunity to get to the cage in a tight game, and so they just sat there for 4 minutes with no timer on, and because the defense wasn't pressing. So obviously it's one of those situations where it's discretionary for the officials and all that, but I feel like 90 seconds is a good number before you get that timer on. We just passed that mark here, so we'll see what the officials come out with. I know they usually wait for hard numbers like minute or 30 seconds to make it easier for the players and the officials to get the call right in terms of the timer on. Looks like they might let them go 2.5 minutes before they make the call on that.
Yeah, I mean, we're already 2 minutes into this third quarter, and they haven't made one yet. UC San Diego.
They have taken 2 shots, though. So
There you go.
I mean, it's not like they're just holding out. I mean, that's as many shots as we felt like they took in the first half.
Yeah, and I mean, that's something that really plagued them in the first half, was the inability to get open to take a shot. And another mishandled pass, but it stays with UCSD. This is Patrick Zhang on the far side. There's going to be a flag down. Both referees threw a flag on that play.
It's another one going to be push with possession, 30-second technical, almost for sure here, and that's going to be the 6th penalty going against Concordia. I mean, they've spent probably 5 or 6 full minutes.
Push. 1-8. Push. 30.
And there you have it. There's the it's push with possession, 30-second technical. It's a goal that'll be wiped off with, or a penalty that'll be wiped off with a goal. This will be the 6th look at the extra man unit for San Diego, and it looks like they've bumped Zhang up and put one of the poles on the crease. Interesting look there. It seems like he must be kind of a dummy look on the crease, because he's not going to be able to get his hands free, and ball down, and that would have been trouble for San Diego State if Concordia had been able to corral that.
Well, yeah, David Mastro had a bit of an opening for a moment there, but he was met by a defender as he got the shot off. Ended up being a very low roller shot, as the penalty will release. And it's, again, really a struggling team when it comes to these man-up situations.
Yeah, no shots on that one at all again. I mean, you have to, maybe try and mix it up. But they should get, a fresh start on this possession. Probably an opportunity to take another 2 minutes off the clock. I mean, like Coach Mann said, it's their scheme is working. They just can't quite get the finishing touches. I mean, they can't quite get the goal in, the last shot. Concordia is getting them with a trail check, or they're missing the frame, and they just can't quite put the last pieces together. But they're keeping the ball, and that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, honestly, that's the thing we've seen from this offense is they can maintain possession. It's not as if they're turning the ball over at a frequent rate, but the lack of shots that are taken on, I mean, you still have to, at some point, you've got to overcome a 7-goal deficit. And at the pace this offense has been working, that's a lot harder than it would be for a team that's got a bit more transition, as this is a low-angle shot that heads out of play, but there's a man back for it.
Yeah, I half expect them to get the timer on here at 10 minutes if they get there without having a shot on cage. But some of the fans voicing their displeasure about San Diego State not giving Concordia an option, and then Concordia going with the quick double there. And there's another shot, and that one, Cody Cook got a stick on it, so maybe they're just gonna let him keep going. I mean, at this rate, they could hold this for 7-8 minutes to start. I mean, we're already at the 10-minute mark. They won the face-off to start the second half, so they've been on offense for 5 full minutes. And that one picked off.
You jinx him. Concordia heading back the other way. We'll see if they get a quick shot off, or if they give their defense a chance to catch their breath a little bit on the other end.
Yeah, and I think that's the right move. I mean, they play 5 minutes of defense straight, and including 30 seconds of man down. I mean, the defense has to be feeling it a little bit. You get a possession, they don't. There's no pressing matter for them to need to go to the cage, and they've got a 7-goal lead. The defense is playing great. There's no reason that they shouldn't wait for a timer on.
Fagan takes the shot. That one, a nice save by Simon. He was in the right spot and was able to use his body to get that one down. So Concordia's first possession of this half ends without a score. They only used about 45 seconds, and it's going to be UCSD with possession once more. We'll see if they decide to go with that same very slow tempo that they brought to the table for the opening 5 minutes of this quarter.
Got to be careful, doesn't get a slash there. Not getting very much stick. And you hear them going for the double, and there's that one's in the helmet as all the officials throw their flags down. And there's a product of this scheme working, because Concordia is getting frustrated and they're playing out harder and they're trying to, really push the issue and get that ball back, and they're drawing penalties.
But the problem is, every time they draw a penalty, this UCSD man up isn't converting, is not coming up with goal scoring chances. In fact, most often not even taking shots on their man up. So it'll be interesting to see if they can change something up to get some shots off, to create some opening space, because if not, this game is going to continue going the way that it has been.
And got David Schaum just tweeted in. I just retweeted it. The video. It was Joey Sankey. So thanks. It was not Marcus Holman who had the UNC play where he was behind the cage for 2 minutes with his defender hung up. And so thanks for sending that in. I got some tweets coming in for player of the game as well. Make sure to tag Margot McCauley in those. She'll be down at the on the sideline post game. And again, when opportunity, 2 men up for San Diego.
And one penalty releases a shot taken on Cody Cook with the save, and now Concordia is moving in transition. This is maybe when they're at their most dangerous, although they're pretty good in the set offense as well. Dylan Bernad brings it into the box, and he's behind the net. 7.5 minutes left in this third quarter. A very slow-paced first quarter, just given that we've seen UC San Diego with possession trying to come up with some shots by very slowly waiting out, and as you mentioned, Chris, drawing some frustration out of this Concordia team.
And Concordia yet to get on the board in the first 8 minutes of this quarter. Zone really seems to be working for San Diego.
Yeah, but keep in mind, this is only Concordia's second possession of this quarter, given how long San Diego held on to the ball for the early goings. Logan Warren has it up top. Warren tries to sidestep a defender. Good job of reacting.
We got another tweet coming in about Concordia hitting Simon in the chest. He says it's Krakilis. It's like what my coach always said. It's you hit the goalie in the chest and you're making him look like an All-American.
This one goes 5-hole, making him look like not an All-American. Sean Wilson goes high to low. A very tough angle shot converts.
Solid segue, Trey.
Thank you. I take some pride in stuff like that. But Simon has had a good game for the most part. But yeah, so a lot of the shots that Concordia has taken in this particular quarter have come right to the body of Simon. Right there, though, we see a 5-hole chance get past him. And so Concordia now up 8-0. And sooner or later, you've got to look at that scoreboard if you're San Diego and say, it's time to change something up.
Got to start to take some shots. Got to start taking some shots there. They're just out there holding on to the ball, but they're not getting any really good looks. And to the point too that he's making saves with his chest or with his body or something. Part of that is good positioning. He puts himself in a position to be successful by being by closing down the angle. Obviously some of these guys are hitting him right in the chest, but part of that is Simon being in good position. And more hard defense. It's going to be a hold going against Concordia, but not doing themselves any favors on the defensive side of the ball right now. So Mastro takes the shot. That was about as good an effort as we've seen from them all game. The first shot that they had in the first minute of the game, where Cook had to make a pretty good save, and here's an opportunity. You got to take that to the cage.
Now a try from outside, and one misses as well. So we are starting to see a little bit more aggressiveness on the offensive side, which is what we were asking for from UCSD. And, I mean, at this point, there's not really anything to do but try to turn up the aggressiveness, because the only way you're going to be able to outscore Concordia by 8 goals down the stretch is to be ambitious. So San Diego keeping possession despite having a man slip to the ground. Now a long-range look from the top.
It's from Miyake. Down under 5 minutes to play in the third quarter.
And interesting to note that it's the pass along the baseline that ends up biting them, as that one heads out of play, and Concordia is going to take over with possession. And that's what the last thing you want to see when you are running a slower tempo. Those type of passes need to be on point. Cody Cook's going to bring it up as Concordia is going to turn it right back over. Not sure if there was a mental error there, but Austin Morales was looking up ahead and ends up airing that one.
Make sure to send us. Keep sending your tweets in to us at CMarshallTLN, at Trey Lanthier, at Margot McCauley. Love getting all this interaction from you guys.
Yeah, and remember to submit your votes for Player of the Game to our Under Armour sideline reporter, Margot McCauley. As, like we said earlier, nobody likes making decisions on their own. We all want to be crowd thinkers. We all want to be followers. Let us know who you think the Player of the Game is. Tweet at Margot McCauley. This shot was backed up very nicely. However, the ensuing pass didn't quite work out the way Dylan Burnett had planned for it to. But
they're doing a good job of putting the and then there's another. That one's going to be a late hit, I think, going against Concordia. That's maybe the ninth flag down for Concordia. And, I mean, it's clear that the frustration is starting to come out. But I mean, I can't remember who said it in the first half. Those penalties would really hurt them against a team that could score.
It's true, and this is one of the things to watch for when they're going to be in the MCLA tournament, is what teams are going to be able to expose as a weakness of theirs, and that's an example.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's you look on the scouting report, and it's like you're gonna get a few opportunities where you might not against a team that doesn't quite come in as hot, where you're going to be able to know pretty much you can count on trying to go for the hidden ball trick. Looks like he kept it. No, moved it. Got me.
Although I don't think it got anybody else, as the Concordia defense did a pretty good job of adjusting there.
Still didn't get a shot off.
And exactly. That's been UCSD.
There we are.
A shot was taken. But that's been UCSD's struggle during the course of this whole game. The shots that they've gotten on the cage have really been easy saves for Cody Cook to make.
Yeah, and we got another tweet. This one coming in from Pamela May, watching the stream from Pennsylvania, supporting the little bro, Steve Warburton, on UCSD. So nice to have people from all across the country. No problem there for Cody Cook. Just watched that one right into his stick.
And honestly, the fact that he was waiting for that one from Will Meller, it had a weird bounce to it. It had a kind of that grounder to short that gets out into the infield type of play. And I think those are the tricky plays for goalies to make sometimes. But Cody Cook, a very talented guy, and he doesn't really get too much talk around the country for the level of talent that he has, and I think he could do some damage in an MCLA tournament game.
That's trouble.
And
great save.
Simon had to redirect that one, which goes out along the baseline.
That's sort of like the end line, right?
Essentially, yes.
Okay.
The end line, baseline, they're all synonymous. Josh Fagan with a shot. Fagan, and it's Simon who makes another save. Ball is loose in front of the crease. There's going to be a call going against Concordia.
It's and you see it again. That one hit him in the shoulder, and that one I probably felt terrible. There's not a whole lot of padding up there with the goalies. They don't wear the shoulder pads. They've got the chest protectors. It's pretty similar to what a catcher would wear. And there's some empty spots up there around the top of the shoulder, over by the collarbone sometimes, and he didn't look like he saw that one, and he's taken a couple to the body that have really had him leaning over.
Still an 8-0 lead for Concordia, but only one goal in this quarter. Defensively, this has been UC San Diego's best quarter. However, it hasn't come with the offensive burst that they need to complete this comeback.
Yeah, I mean, I think
if it's even started.
There's a good chance that UCSD gets shut out. And it's tough. I mean, Concordia's got a good defense, and I think that there were a couple mental mistakes that they made. I mean, this could have been a game. This could easily have been a game that was like 4-0. You know, I mean, with the way that if they came out in the third quarter and played this exact same way the whole game, I don't think it would have been crazy that we could have seen like a 4-0, 4-1 game.
20 seconds on the clock before the end of this third quarter. San Diego not really able to hold on to this one. The ball is on the ground, and it's going to go Concordia's way. So with 10 seconds, Concordia may have a chance to do some damage, but it looks like they're going to get slowed up here, and they're going to have to send it back to where the foul was committed.
Well, yeah, he was just too far up the field to get that quick whistle. He was a good 10 yards ahead of where the actual
3 seconds, and I don't know if they're going to get a shot off. Warren does take one, but Simon saw it, even if that one was before the buzzer. But that's going to bring our third quarter to a close. Concordia still going with a shutout. They're up 8-0. And really just a commanding defensive performance from Concordia. When you think about the fact they've been man down as many times as they have been, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's the testament to how well they're playing and how good Cody Cook is. Cody Cook's a really good goalie, but it's UCSD's just not giving him a whole lot to work with either. I mean, the saves that he's needed to make, he's made. And that's all you can really ask from your goalie. But Concordia, I mean, staying in their system, going according to plan. I mean, there's no need to really push out or do anything. I mean, you're up 8 goals. I mean, at this point, it doesn't really feel like UCSD's going to score 9 goals in the fourth. But we're going to send it down to Under Armour sideline reporter Margot McCauley, who is listening in on the huddle.
At the break, listening into the UC San Diego huddle, Coach Mann said to his team, guys, in that game, in the game so far, their goalie has not made one real save. I don't know how true that is, but that's what Coach Mann said. He said all of their goals that they've scored have come from their defense messing up, and the reason they're not getting on the board is because they're making mistakes on offense. That it has nothing to do with what the other team is doing, and that this game is still in their hands. If they want to win it, they can make it happen, but they have to get on the board early, and they've got to do it now, right off this face-off. That's all I've got for you guys. Tweet me your players of the game so I can get them after this for a post-game interview. Back to you, Chris and Trey.
All right, Margot, thanks so much. And Coach Mann, saying that Cody Cook hasn't made an actual save in this game. And honestly, I think even Cody Cook would be willing to admit that he hasn't been challenged in this game. I mean, the shots taken have to be in the single digits, and it's not as if he's ever had to make too aggressively of a save. I would say that bounce shot save he made earlier was impressive. But aside from that, it's not as if he's been challenged, but he's doing everything he has to do. You can't look at Cody Cook and say anything. I think that what Coach Mann is really saying is we aren't getting shots.
Yeah, and I mean I think he's right. And they're like one piece away from being a team that can really compete. They just need a big shooter. They need a guy who can take over the game. If they had a guy like that, and they were able to control the offense like they do, they've been doing it here in the second half. I mean, they could play with anybody. Because if you can control the ball for 9 minutes in a quarter, It sort of reminds me of the old kind of the Bill Tierney Princeton squads that would win games like 5-4, and go out and they would just do exactly this before the rules changed and hold on to the ball for 10 minutes in a quarter and do it. And people thought it was boring or whatever you want to call it, but it was also worked. And it's not, I think, going as well as they would have liked. And there's a big save there on the shot from De Leon.
And Cook had to get his body in front of that one. I think he reached his leg out, and it looked like it may have made contact with part of his leg.
There's ball still down. Looks like San Diego is going to be able to get it. UCSD, nice cutback.
And this is the best offensive sequence we've seen from San Diego, as that was the long pull Carpenter, or actually McKeon, coming up with the shot.
Yeah, and it was De Leon is a good player. He's a kind of guy. He's the kind of guy I feel like you could put a shorty in his hands. He's athletic. He's coordinated. He does a really good job defensively. And it looks like we got a player down, so we're going to take a quick break here while the trainers take a look at him. Hopefully we can get an update on him. Hopefully he's okay.
It's on us to stop sexual assault.
To get in the way before it happens.
To get a friend home safe.
And to not blame the victim.
It's on us.
To look out for each other.
To not look the other way. It's on us to stand up.
To step in.
To take responsibility.
It's on us, all of us,
to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Margo McCauley, and I'll catch you at the MPLA Championship.
Welcome back into Chapman Stadium. D2 semifinal action between Concordia and UC San Diego. Trey Lanthier alongside Chris Marshall. In the fourth quarter, Concordia has an 8-0 lead, but UC San Diego had their best offensive sequence just before we cut to that break.
Ooh.
And it'll be interesting to see if that momentum carries over for them. Concordia is currently a man down.
I think it's
And
another
I don't remember a
30-second
ruling, but
technical for interference is what I think I heard the official say.
And Cody Cook aggressively playing this one down along the end line.
And kicked out by De Leon.
And that's a heads-up play by Cook to play aggressively back there. And now Concordia is moving in transition. This one's going to head out of bounds, though, so maybe a bit too ambitious.
Actually, correction on that. That's a 3-minute penalty for an illegal stick.
Wow.
And that seems like it's I think that if it's a 3-minute penalty, that it was an issue with maybe the pinch. So it's not fixable, which means he will not be able to use that stick again, and it is unreleasable as well. So this is a big opportunity. I mean, if they were looking for an opportunity to get back in this game, I mean, it's a silver platter right now for UCSD.
And it's coming at the right time for them offensively, where they've clearly got some momentum, but they can't play that same slow style they played in the past. They have to move quickly, especially when you consider this penalty is non-releasable. You can go on a run right now. 8-0 on the scoreboard, but UC San Diego trying to break up the shutout.
Yeah, and they've gone to a different look. Now they've got all shorties out there for this 3-minute man up. So for the first time all game, we've seen them mix up the man-up unit.
Looks like they're going with a 2-2-2. Mastro winds up, fires, missed the mark by a hair. But if that one was in on the cage, I don't think that Cook could have gotten to it in time.
I mean, he's still 14 yards out. It's tough if you've got a goalie who's a top end guy to go and do it.
A cut from behind the net results in another shot. This one coming from Brian Tran, but the ground ball is scooped up by the Eagles, and they're going to head in transition now. You have to imagine, I mean, if I'm Concordia, I'm probably looking to run out enough clock to kill off the penalty. It looks like the penalty has come to a close.
Yep.
As Concordia back to full strength. So at the 11:30 mark in this quarter, another flag is down. This looks like it'll be the first flag going against UC San Diego of this entire game.
Yeah, that's just good discipline defense. And like I said, this defense has been impressive, holding Concordia to 1 goal in the second half so far. I mean, that's no easy task. I mean, this is a team that can score quickly, and in bunches. So it's impressive what they were able to do. And I think if anybody's watching this game, anybody the tournament teams, they can take a page out of their book and look at this and be like, we can use this zone to neutralize this Concordia team and give them some fits.
A nice move made by Bernad to get open inside, but the slide was there to pinch him off. At the 10:30 mark, this ball is on the ground up top. However, it's controlled by Romero.
There's Matronga.
And remember, that flag is still down, so this is just a free play being run out. And Concordia just killing some clock off, if anything, maybe giving UC San Diego a taste of its own medicine.
Yeah, and it's you look at these opponents over the course of the season, and not a single Division II team was able to keep Concordia under 10 goals. The only 2 teams where Concordia didn't reach double digits were the first 2 games of the season at UCLA and here against Chapman. So I mean that's pretty impressive. Even against Whittier, they were able to put up 11 goals. So defensively, from a strategy standpoint, and from a success standpoint, this is a win for UCSD. They just can't put the pieces together on the offensive side. And also Concordia, fair to mention that what a finish. This would be the second shutout of the season for Concordia if they were able to do it.
Chase Matronga turns around, didn't get a chance to look at the cage until the final moment when it was already out of his stick, and he still buries it top shelf.
And that's a field goal. You know where you are in the field. That's a sort of kind of question mark move that you just practice all the time. It's a lot of like I remember Billy Bitter loved that move. Where you come around, do the question mark. It's fun to watch. You find the spot every time, and then you know it's automatic. It's like that Kim Olajuwon fadeaway. From the same spot every time. Can't miss it.
Remember to tweet in at us, at Trey Lanthier, at C Marshall TLN. We don't just talk about lacrosse. We've talked about water polo. We talked about soccer. He just made a basketball reference. It's everything. So tweet in, let us know what your thoughts are on the game, but most importantly, tweet at our Under Armour sideline reporter, Margot McCauley, at Margot McCauley, for your player of the game. They get a free shirt. There's a lot on the line here. It's more than just pride. Concordia with possession at the 9-minute mark. They have a 9-0 lead.
Again, the other shutout this season, 19-0 against Long Beach. It's a tough day at the office for the Dirtbags.
Yeah, but how impressive would it be to get 2 shutouts in a season? As this one, another gets through.
It's Fagan.
And we haven't seen as much of Fagan in this second half, but he came around right there, got open for just a moment, was able to bury it, and now Concordia up 10-0. But most importantly, I mean, pulling off a shutout in the postseason is something you very rarely see.
Well, I mean, I've never been a part of one as a player. I've never seen one live in person.
This could be your first.
This could be my first.
Man, I'm gonna cherish this memory.
Good.
I mean, if it happens, this is the thing. UC San Diego, we talked about their offense has been coming to life, but they've got to get it on that side of the field and somehow get past this Concordia defense, which apparently seems like it has no end to its supply of energy, because this defense has been on its toes the whole game and just continues to stand its ground. But recently, it's been this Concordia offense that we're seeing a lot of. Another sidewinder from Fagan, and that one, and actually,
that was off De Leon. He hit him in the shin. You can see him kind of limping a little bit.
Yeah, you don't want to take that type of a shot to the body, and it actually came from Bernad. But either way, a lot of juice underneath that one.
Yeah, and you got another question in. It's just like the shot clock was preventing winning teams from hogging the ball. So, is it fair that the team literally can't score? I mean, that's the thing. I think that's why they're hesitant to call the timer on. This team's, they're down 10 goals. It's like if they want to waste their time, doing that, and I understand the strategy, but at some point they're going to have to try and start scoring some goals, and I think that's why they're getting the leeway. And so if Concordia was holding on to the ball for 3 or 4 minutes, I think they'd probably get about 90 seconds before the timer came on. But I don't think there's any reason that the officials need to have a timer on situation for a team that's losing.
And it's rare you see a team that's trailing by this amount play a patient style of offense. As another turnover, but this one is going to stay with UC San Diego. A lot of frustration from Concordia.
Nice move.
As Sean Wilson was not happy. This trying to go low on Cody Cook, but he stonewalls it. He had to drop very low to make that play, and a nice grab for Cook. As that may have been the best chance we've seen San Diego have all day.
Yeah, I mean, he read that the whole way.
And speaking of the whole way, there on the other end of the field, Marcus Hughes, the sophomore midi out of Dana Point, California, puts that one in the back of the net, and there's a flag down way after the goal was scored.
Yeah, we'll see what the call is for this one. Hopefully we can get, when the official comes over and makes the official call, here exactly what was going on. But wheels kind of coming off right now for UCSD, as we're at the 6:57 mark, and three quick goals.
So it looks like the penalties going against Concordia must have been.
Looks like on Fagan.
There's going to be a timeout called on the field. We're going to take a quick break. 6:57 on the clock. Concordia up 11-0. Stay with us for all the post-game coverage. You're watching the SLC tournament provided by the SLC YouTube channel.
Yesterday burn and throw it in a fire, in a fire, in a fire. Fight like a warrior. Today live like I wanna. Let yesterday burn and throw it in a fire, in a fire, in a fire. Live like a warrior. Hey, Israel!
Welcome back into Chapman Stadium. D2 semi-final action. Concordia, UC San Diego. Looks like this one's pretty much decided. Concordia up 11-0. We're going to go down to the sideline.
All right, guys, right there in the break, listening into the Concordia huddle, they called the timeout, and their coach said, guys, when we retaliate, what happens? We get a penalty. That is not what this team is about. But today, they have been about that. They've had over 10 minutes of penalties to 0 minutes on the other side of the field. So he said, for the rest of this game, guys, I want to see sportsmanship. I want to see you guys play tough, but play smart and not do anything to get dumb penalties for the last 7 minutes of this game. Back to you, Chris and Trey.
Yeah, and honestly, with 7 minutes left in this game, I don't know that UCSD's comeback hopes are still alive. I think at this point, obviously just looking to playing for pride more than anything, and honestly playing to not be shut out if you're UCSD.
Yeah.
Because no team wants to be shut out.
That is true, Trey. But make sure to send in your last few tweets, comments, questions, anything you got to us. Let us know, what you think is going to happen tomorrow as we get into championship Sunday for the SLC with the AQ on the line, automatic qualifier to the national tournament. And also take some time to go to the MCLA website, go to the tournament, the MCLA tournament page, and check out the information on the second annual Champions Challenge Golf Tournament. It's on Friday, May 15th. It's on the day off between the semifinal and final. It's open to everyone, and it's a really good time.
Are you gonna be out there?
I might be.
Signing autographs?
Yeah, I won last year.
A player down for Concordia. And speaking of the shutout try for Concordia right now at 11-0, UCSD has not been shut out since March 25th, 2009. It's been 6 years since the last time this team was shut out, and that was against a Division I team back when UCSD was D1 at UNLV.
Man.
So just a bit of a deeper level research for you. They've still got 5:57 to work with on the clock. That's plenty of time to end up with a goal-scoring effort. The difficult part is that we haven't really seen them get many quality shots on, period.
And here's another great question. This is coming in from Chase Clark. What are the chances of Concordia becoming Division I? I don't think they want to go D1. Honestly, I mean they're such a small school, and they have such a small roster. And I think this year they can hang. With the teams, you see Concordia just kind of taking some time off the clock over there, a little tea party, 2-man game. But I think that they've carved a nice niche for them in Division II, and I mean, at least from my standpoint, I think that that's probably where they'll stay. But stay tuned. I mean, we'll know in 4 weeks whether or not they're making the jump up. But,
yeah, and that could be an interesting storyline to follow. I mean. Grand Canyon, an example of a smaller type of school, obviously nowhere near as small as Concordia, but still making that jump from D2 to D1 in the SLC. BTB try is stopped by Simon. Good anticipation by the senior. And now UCSD with possession again. 4:40 left in this one. And looking ahead to tomorrow's game, I mean, that's the one that all eyes should be on. Between Cal State Fullerton and Concordia. It's the matchup we all expected from the beginning of the season. It seems like year in, year out, those two teams are battling and digging it out for the SLC title. But this year it's a little different because usually there's a discussion to be had between is Fullerton going to win this year, is Concordia going to win this year? Now it seems like pretty much everyone is aligning with Concordia, considering they're that number 2 team in the country. And Chris, you've obviously expressed a lot of confidence in Concordia as potentially a contender in the entire MCLA. Another wide open try, and Seguin puts it home. He faked out Simon, and no defense had gotten back to stop him. So it's now a 12-0 game with 4:05 on the clock.
So it's going to be a timeout on the field here. Again, like you said, it's a 4:05 mark. So we're going to take a quick break, so don't go anywhere. Got a lot more lacrosse action coming your way.
It's on us to stop sexual assault.
To get in the way before it happens.
To get a friend home safe.
And to not blame the victim.
It's on us.
To look out for each other.
To not look the other way. It's on us to stand up.
To step in.
To take responsibility.
It's on us, all of us.
To stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Welcome back into Chapman Stadium. We're going to send it down to Margot McCauley with a sideline report, our Under Armour sideline reporter.
All right, guys, at the timeout, listening into the UC San Diego huddle, Coach pulled his team in and said, guys, heads up right now, okay? We've played hard today, we fought hard, and all we need to do is get on the board. Let's not give up in these last 4 minutes of this game. Let's come out here, let's fight, let's get the ball, and let's get on the board. Let's not give them the shutout. I got to tell you guys, all day they've been calling Pacquiao one of their plays on the UCSD side, and I don't know if that's foreshadowing to tonight. Looking at the scoreboard, I hope it doesn't go that way for him. Back to you, Chris and Trey.
Well, I would tend to agree. I hope Manny Pacquiao knows what's going on here. What at the Pacquiao play call is maybe they got to start calling Mayweather. I mean, I think that's the change I would make.
That's a good change, Trey.
Thank you. So, UCSD currently down 12-0, 4:05 on the clock. But looking ahead to that Fullerton-Concordia matchup, is there any way, can you see Fullerton holding a light to this Concordia team tomorrow?
I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, they've got some good players. I think they're going to need to – I think that's why we saw them holding the ball a lot longer on offense today, honestly. Is because they know that that's what they're going to have to do to beat Concordia. Because it seemed like that was a little out of character compared to the games that I've seen them play earlier in this season where they're pretty much up and down. Today they held onto the ball a lot more and really tried to force Northern Arizona to do some things. So, I mean, I think they've got a shot. And I think they need to keep it close to make sure that they can get one of those at-large bids. But I think more importantly, we should talk about what constitutes like a small enrollment number. Grand Canyon at 35,000 undergrads.
I'm not always right. Sometimes I miss my marks. I live in Phoenix, or I used to live in Phoenix, I should say, and I always thought it was a small school, but it's not a small school. There's a lot of people there. You know, you go to the campus, you only see maybe one or two people. I think they all hide in bunkers of some kind.
That's not true, Trey.
Well, okay, I'm just saying. I didn't realize there were 35,000 people going to that school. Concordia is the definition of a small school. Have you ever been to the Concordia campus?
I have.
Beautiful campus.
Yeah, it's a beautiful campus, right in Irvine. Very nice. It's in a neighborhood up there. We actually used to play them in soccer here at Chapman. It's NAIA athletics. Pretty storied history, especially on the with soccer. But competitive athletics across the board at the NAIA level for Concordia for such a small school, especially. But yeah, beautiful campus.
2:30 between right now and the end of the game. Please tweet in your player of the game votes to our Under Armour sideline reporter at Margot McCauley. This ball loose on the ground. Still a lot of physical plays being made down there. And you love to see that. Even though it is a 12-0 score, obviously a lopsided result, both of these teams are still playing to get the next point on the board and to see their way to the end of this game. It's not as if anyone has given up on this game yet in terms of leaving everything on the field.
Here comes Mastro. We got a shout out coming from Big Mole to the Mole Squad.
Do you know what that is? I saw that tweet too, but I don't know what that means.
It's probably what he calls his group of brothers.
That's an interesting choice. A mole squad. A deep shot from Mastro, but nothing coming of it. And right now, it's everyone just watching to see if San Diego
can get on the board here,
prevent the shutout. Yeah, I mean that's the story. That's the story we're going with. So they only got 90 seconds to work with right now. This might be their last chance, and they do get a shot off, but it's high over the cage. However, it's backed up.
Yeah, down to the last 86 seconds. Oh, that was actually a decent effort from Zhang. Comes around the corner, gets a shot off, just couldn't get it on the frame, and it stays in bounds.
So 1:10 on the clock.
There's still just no urgency. I mean, granted, they're not coming back at this point, but I mean, you think that they'd really want to try and get on the board here. I think that should probably just about seal it. I think the only question now is whether or not Concordia is going to try and score another goal.
Yeah, I would be surprised, but with the game we've seen them play, I mean, you never know. You never know what can come out of this.
If anything I've known about Concordia from covering them the last couple of years, it's anytime they have an opportunity to go to goal, they're going to take it, regardless of where they are in the game. If they're winning, if they're up 10, up 1, up 20, they're gonna go and try and score a goal.
And you're right, they're still going toward the cage. That was Josh Fagan who got wrapped up and apparently stepped into the crease. So with 13 seconds left, UCSD, I mean, you have to wonder if they'll be hustling down the field trying to end the shutout, or if they might just let the clock run out and let this one go final, as it looks like that's what they're going to opt to do. So this one will go final. Maybe one last second heave. Ball ends up on the ground. Concordia has the shutout secured. 12-0 the final. UCSD shutout for the first time since 2009. But for Concordia, this team has a lot of excitement ahead of it, as a game against Cal State Fullerton, your rival tomorrow, and then the MCLA tournament that'll be right here in this region of the state in 2 weeks. Or in a week, I guess I should say. We're going to take it to a quick break, but we'll be back with post-game coverage. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the SLC Lacrosse Tournament. And we're back in Orange, California here at Chapman Stadium. The one last thing I'm sure all of you are tuning in for is our Player of the Game interviews, which are going to be done by Under Armour sideline reporter Margot McCauley. She's currently making that selection, so we'll find out pretty soon who is going to be named the Player of the Game, who is getting that coveted Player of the Game shirt that everyone wants. I know you out there watching wish you could get a Player of the Game shirt. I wish I could get a Player of the Game shirt, or just a male shirt, period. And
I've got one.
Well, that's good to know, Chris. That's good to know, because I apparently don't know the difference. But we do have some great interviews coming up, as Margot McCauley always gets that really fresh inside information for those of you watching at home. And
that's important.
It is. It absolutely is. And we're also going to get her talking to head coach Ryan Brent of the winning team. Margot.
All right, Coach, congratulations. You get the win, but I got to throw a stat at you real quick. 10.5 minutes of penalties to no minutes of penalties on the other side. You guys keep the shutout, though, and you play so much of that time man down. What does that say about your team?
It's a huge testament to our defensive overall effort. I mean, like we mentioned a couple times, we have other guys stepping up and, spot duties and stuff like that. And, but it all starts with our anchor right here, number 25. He's 30. Jeez. All right, anyways. But, yeah, he did a great job in goal again today. And, he's the leader of our defense and showed up.
All right, well, congratulations, Coach. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right,
I'll move on to our players of the game. We got our defensive player of the game. He got the shutout today in the goal. Cody, how does it feel to get the shutout, and what are you looking forward to tomorrow?
Feels good. It was a real building game for the boys for tomorrow. Tougher opponent tomorrow, better offense. Defense is going to have to be a little stronger. We're just going to have to clean everything up through attack, through even me. Clearance got to be on point. Changes, box personnel, everything like that. So we're feeling good for tomorrow. Really fired up.
All right, he's Canadian. I don't know if you guys can tell. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to? Anybody special that's watching?
My entire family watching for me right now. Thank you. Love you guys.
And shout out the beard, guys. I think he gives you two both in there a run for your money. Congratulations. Now moving on, we've got Chase, our offensive player of the game. Congratulations. Moving on to the final. How are you feeling and what are you looking forward to tomorrow?
It's good. I mean, we expected to be here, so it's where we want to be. Tomorrow's going to be tough. We know that. We came out after a loss last year and stuck it to them, and this year we beat them, so they're going to be coming out just as hot. I think we can handle them. We need to polish up from today. Less shots, more time on the ball, long possession, stuff like that. But we'll be good.
Any teammates who hooked you up with some nice assists, or family watching that you want to shout out?
Family's in the stand. Love you guys. No. Nothing for the boys. Nothing ever.
Nothing ever.
Only for me.
All right. Well, congratulations. I'll let you go be with your team. That's it for us today. Back to you, Chris and Trey.
Wow, no shout-outs.
No, not a one.
From to the family, or the family's here. No shout-outs beyond that. But I'm not sure about the beard comment. I'm not sure. I like Cody Cook's beard. I like it. But if I had to make a straight-up trade, I don't know if I would trade my own for his.
Listen, Trey, I have a beard. You have facial hair.
I don't see the distinction there. I really don't. I don't. But, hey, you can join us tomorrow at 10:50 a.m. We're going to have pregame coverage, head coaching interviews, and game time starts at 11 a.m. You do not want to miss it. We're going to have two great games. We've got the Division I and Division II finals tomorrow. Cal State Fullerton taking on Concordia, and then that big D1 game, Arizona State, Grand Canyon, a potential 1 seed in the MCLA tournament on the line. Don't miss any of that. We'll be here tomorrow. But that's going to do it for us for today's action. For Margot McCauley and Chris Marshall, I'm Trey Lanthier, signing off.
Stay laxy.